Welcome to the Times of Israel's What Matters Now. I'm your host, Deputy Editor Amanda Borschel-Dan, here today in our Jerusalem offices with Yochay Sponder. Yochai, I think you would be characterized as a stand-up comedian, but recently you're kind of also an Israel advocate, wouldn't you say?
Thank you, I guess. Yeah, I think each and every one of us Jews trying to, the situation is so awful and what's going on, and then you think, what can I do to assist in somehow? So, in my case, luckily I have my talent to work with, but there is not even one day or 1 minute that I didn't think like I'm going to Gaza. I'm going to Gaza to search for these people. I think every Jewish person that is connected to his identity or to his family or to what's going on has that feeling in the background. So, yeah,
You obviously started your career in Hebrew. Mm-hmm. And when did you make the transition into English?
So it started 2012 in the summer. I remember that clearly because the first thing that you do when it's like you're born to that change, to that change pursuing, right, of conceptions of who we are as people. People think about us bad things all over the world, but when you have that tool, immediately that's the first thing that you see in front of your eyes.
So what you're saying, it sounds to me, is that in 2012, which was, of course, a very major operation in Gaza, a war, essentially, you woke up to the fact that, hey, I am a comedian, I have talent, and I also have English. So let me use this English to forward Israel's image, but in the way that I can do with my talent, which is comedy.
Yeah.
And recently, of course, you've been touring basically every English-speaking nation I know of. I don't know exactly where you've been, but I've seen so many shorts from different live performances you've been doing also in Tel Aviv in English, which is interesting. But one of the things that is so, I would say, shocking probably to your audience is your very Israeliness, which, North Americans certainly just don't know how to swallow. Just the mere fact that you're saying, I don't know, truth.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be something else. I'm not trying to talk in a way that I'm not talking, or to say opinions that they're not mine to begin with. I think when you add to that the comedy, jokes, but jokes on the truth. I would say escapism without changing the subject. When we're focusing on what's going on. So is it escapism? It's not, but it's kind of is, because it's a comedy relief.
Yeah,
and in a way we're dealing with what's up, with what's going on, and we're telling jokes about it. So it's I'm happy you're saying that, because that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm here to do.
For me, as somebody who lives here in Israel since 1999, I just love to hear how you're playing with the language as well, with the English language, but from an Israeli perspective. For example, there is no word in the English language for 2 days from now, right?
Yeah.
And in Hebrew, it's so easy. Time, it's right there, right? And so one of the clips that I showed my husband, who's Israeli born as well, is your idea. What is your idea for that, for example?
Tomorrow's? Yeah, it's the whole perspective of I'm not performing in English because I think English is a cool language, or I'm trying to be American or Brit. I'm doing it to educate more people from the Israeli confident point of view, which we're speaking Hebrew, which is very ancient language. A lot of people not aware how many things been stolen from our language. So I'm talking about it then in the show as well, which is fascinating when you dive into it. By the way, it's true. Source from Shoresh, organization from Irgun, Mask, Masecha, Fall, Mapal, Love, Lev. It's going on and on and on. And from the comedical point of view, I have jokes about it, but it's true. Earth, Aretz, alphabet. It's going on and on. Tractor, banana, university. The languages, most of them got something from Hebrew.
Sure. And Hebrew got a lot from many other languages as well, of course.
Yeah, but that narrative I'm not supporting.
Okay.
We started that. It's the ancient language.
But one of the things that I think, I've lived here for so long, most of my adult life, I have Israeli children. It's the Israeli attitude that you bring to the stage is obviously also a persona. I mean, I'm meeting you now and you're very mild-mannered. At least you're putting on a great show of it. But when you're on stage, you're being brusque. You're being not politically correct, which is, for America of today, kind of hard to swallow, but also amazing and fantastic to see on stage. So how do you balance these two issues? Essentially, you want to get your message across, but you want it to be entertaining, and through using this very, Israeli, macho persona.
You just have to not care. You can't. It's also a comedical point of view. You can't care about so many things at the same time. You want to say something. I don't care if you find it. I'm not here to offend anyone. I'm here to say things, but I can't care what other people feelings about. I'm saying this I can do because I can do according to PC, which means you can make fun of things that you are. If you're Jewish, you make jokes about Jews. If you're brown, you can make fun of brown people. So according to that, I'm so many things, so I can do these things. Also, my friends that are from America and they always tell me, Sponder, this is not Israel. The subjects that you do, your racism, you can't do it here. In America, we have the PC, politically correct. You can't do it. I said, what's PC? Because in Israel we do stand up like in the 90s, you say what you say. You gay, you enjoy it. You enjoy the show. It's not like here. So I said, what's PC? He said, you can do jokes about what you are. If you're Jewish, do jokes about Judaism. If you are, for example, you know what you are, you can do. So I open the show with who I am and we'll go from there, okay? Whatever I am, I can do, okay? Okay. So, I'm half Moroccan and half Polish. Morocco. I can do jokes, don't get offended. I can do jokes about Moroccans, also about Africa, because Morocco is in Africa. Whatever you can do, Africa. My mom grew up speaking Arabic. You do jokes about Arabic, Islam. This thing I can do. Also, my father is Polish. Poland, Holocaust jokes I can do. Whoever participated in the war, Germany, Austria, England, whatever, France, Russia, Ukraine, all of these I can do. Those who didn't participate, even more. Fuck them. Why they didn't help? I can do. I was born in Israel, which is Asia, so I'm Asian. Totally Asian. If you're Asian, for family, these jokes I can do. I also got married to American lady 2 years ago, guys. American lady. And I just got the paper done. So I'm not only American, I'm African American right now. I can do. However, some parts in my body are more Asian, but we're not gonna talk about this tonight. This is a bit, the whole bit, but there is a truth to that, and also I'm adding to it that guys, whoever grew up in Israel is not playing the PC game. It's not in Israel. Never did Aliyah. We're doing stand-up different here. We still make fun of everything, like stand-up back in the day. Not that it's good or it's bad. It's different, and just get used to it.
Right. And I think one of the more shocking things that Americans who make Aliyah, who come here and live, they probably weren't expecting all of the Holocaust humor that just is so...
Wow, yeah. Wow. As my wife is American, and it's a lot of conversations about that. But you cannot do jokes about that in America. That's not going to fly. Do not. Or when I honk once and with the car, and she told me, this is ghetto stuff. Like, someone needed it. Don't do it. It's ghetto. And I'm like, what do you mean it's ghetto? We don't know what's ghetto beside Auschwitz, right? So I asked her, were you thinking the ghetto, they have cars? I don't think they had cars in the ghetto.
Yeah, I traveled with my husband once to Toronto, and again, he's Israeli born, and he just was driving and honking, as one does, of course. And he was like, nobody else here is honking at all, ever. And the whole time we were there, he didn't hear one other person honking, ever. Just such a different, But the idea of the Holocaust humor, I mean, for most Israelis, it's just natural, I would say.
That's unfortunately, part of the culture in a weird way. I had jokes about in Hebrew, when you use Nazi as a compliment to someone. I need a plumber, but I need someone that is coming on time. I need to bring me a Nazi plumber. I want, like, what? How did we forgot all the massacre, genocide? Then with just the accuracy, that's what left from the Nazi people. We just mention that. So it's horrible. It is horrible. But also it's part of how you digest trauma, I think. It's how you digest being second or third generation. We said we talked to people in the army. Also, it's a conversation that I had with my wife when he said, wow, the showers was Shoah, Holocaust, like in the show. Like, why? Why would you say something like that? It's horrible.
Yeah, it is horrible.
Part of the dialect.
It's part of the dialect. And it kind of explains, when we hear our politicians using Nazi terms for basically everyone who criticizes Israel, it does make sense because it's so in your face. But on the other hand, as you said, it's a way of digesting. And one Holocaust survivor told me once, one eye is crying and one eye is laughing always. That's why we have two eyes as Jews. And I found that just amazing and correct. And so now today, we're not anywhere near the Holocaust, but we're here October 7th in the aftermath of it. And one of the bits that I've actually quoted on this podcast before is how you talk about self-hating Jews.
These guys called self-hating Jews. And they go on social medias and they go, as a Jew, me, 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 me. As a Jew, me, 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 me. Because they're Jewish, so they can criticize what's going on, right? As a Jew, I just have to say, me, 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 me. We should me, me, give it to me. We should me, me, me. As a Jew, we should me, me. I never know what the next part of the sentence. I always hear just as a Jew and I block him, motherfucker. That's why I hate them, because self-hating Jews make self-loving Jews hate Jews. I hate them. They're making me hate.
I want you to kind of tell me your thought processes when you're talking about this on stage in English in the United States to Jews.
Yeah, that's interesting subject because I don't think the Jews that criticize us are bad people. I don't think they know better. But I think that it is their responsibility to educate themselves. I just watched this video of this comedian that is half Jewish, partly Jewish. They're talking in disrespect a lot of things that is just showing us, or whoever criticizes Israel is anti-Semite right now. But to bomb Gaza, like, if you're talking about what's going on without knowing what's going on, of course we can look bad. That's exactly what I try to put in this bit. You don't want to learn the subject. You don't want to know what is up. Stay out. No worries. Stay out. I'm not blaming you that you didn't help. I'm not judging you. History will, but stay out of it. But if you choose to criticize, you have to learn and get in there and get your information right, because there is no several truth. There is one truth. We never start any war, not even once. There is no other democracy here. It's very simple fact that you can check. Millions of Arabs living among us. You can't say apart. There's terms that they're just factually are not true. That's very easy to check. Come here and walk around, and you'll see that it's BS, all the things that we get blamed for. And this is our life. We're talking about you risk people's life with that. So it's, when you're asking me about the bit, the joke is not important as the matters of that's a nerve that hit me. Like it's a real thing that real bothers me in real time. And I'm talking about self-hating Jews. You make me hate you. You make me self-loving Jew hate Jews. That's true. I hate you. Like with you talking, we have so many people that talking shit about us. We have enough of that. You don't want to help, stay away. Like you helping them hit us. That's cancer. That's exactly cancer. That part of your body cells are start to attack you. This is the worst thing, because as a Jew, like you're allowed to say stuff. You're not because you don't know what you're saying. Obviously, if you knew what you're saying, all your criticism, all the things that you check, we're doing mistakes, and some innocent people are paying with their lives. That's true. That's happening. But to say that that's the system that we chose, we never wanted that. We never wanted any casualty that they're innocent. That's also a truth to it. That's a war that is a very bad war that we didn't start. And the beauty part about it is, like, ask every Israeli and every Jewish people that will tell you we want peace. We want to, to move forward and to make this Middle East a better place. That's not true in the other side. It's not. It's some of it. Yes, some of them. I can say that I'm a pro-Palestine too. I'm a the other side. I can say that. I don't want people to be dead just because they're different than me, no matter who they are. Especially my neighbors, that I remember times that we went to Gaza to eat hummus, like it's Jaffa. I want that. Every Israeli want it. Every Jewish person supported the Muslim releasing hostage Muslim guy, that we released him. Every Israeli person that you talk to will say, yeah, we risk human life, but we did the right thing, right? So it's very easy to see if you just dive in, if you just do your research or educate yourself a little bit, you'll know that you're wrong.
But how is this received when you're in the United States, for example, and maybe you're performing on a campus, for example, or near a campus?
Never perform in a campus.
Never.
I don't know why.
Uh-huh.
But maybe we should start to do campuses.
Okay, you're performing somewhere where there are young people. They happen to be Jewish. They're perhaps more liberal than what you're saying you feel. And have you had any pushback on that? Has any Jew said, hey, no, you're wrong. I can have an opinion, and my opinion is as valid as yours, even if I'm perhaps less educated?
I had an incident a month ago in City Winery that 9 pro-Palestinians came to my show to try to see, like, what's the other side is like. Because my show is called Self-Loving Jew. I think they, I don't know if they're planning to tackle the show, or maybe they plan to be hecklers or something. I don't know. But she approached me after the show. She said, we came with a different opinion, and now after we listened to what you had to say, and your show was amazing, and what you're doing is very important, because you did give us a lot of point of views that we didn't take in consideration, and you enlight a lot of very tough issues through comedy, and you made us laugh. And I think most of us will try to listen and find a sane middle now, and not just, this, that. talking about values that we get from the Bible, like tzedek tzedek tirdof. And I'm talking the show about how anti-Semitism grow and changes with times, and how we always get blamed for things that the other side wants to do to us, to call us genocide there, and at the same time to say you want to genocide all the Jews. That makes no sense, right? Pick one, right? That was during the whole history. It was like that. So talking about these things in a comedy show, this is not easy, but
no, but it's so Israeli in a way, which is why I'm just fascinated.
Nonapologetic.
Exactly. Unapologetic. You're putting facts into faces. And it's amazing to me to hear that these pro-Palestinian, I don't know, supporters at least, came up to you afterwards and really reached out. That is powerful. That is just showing how powerful your words can be.
Thank you so much. And yeah, it's connected to what I said earlier. I'm not anti-Palestine. I'm not anti-other people. If you respect me and as a people, and if you're not trying to kill us, we can live together. And that's the main difference between the both sides. To say from the river to the sea, it's not coexisting. It's to saying this is not your place. Go back to whatever or die. This is not understanding also the Jewish heritage and the Jewish history, which we, Judea.
Right. And Israelis, such as yourself, you're Benetton, you're everything all together. As you said, you're Polish and did you say Moroccan? I mean, you have everything all together. So where are you supposed to go? You're supposed to cut yourself up and send an ear over there and an eye over there. I mean, it's just ridiculous by now in terms of Israelis are so not from one place anymore. We're from here. So it's impossible.
We return home, but there are also a lot of people that were here and didn't live. That, when we kicked out from Jerusalem twice, there are a lot of people from our people that didn't live in Jerusalem back in the day, and they kept their identity as Jews. Doesn't matter if Haredis or not Haredis, but some thousands of people kept live here. Mm-hmm. It's documented and recorded, and history. Mm-hmm. There are things that it's easy to check.
For sure.
People just lazy, and it's a TikTok generation and stories. What story you can tell in 15 seconds?
I came to know your comedy through not TikTok, but through YouTube Shorts or things that popped up on, Facebook or Twitter, perhaps. And how do you distill what you want to say into, I think your shorts are usually, a minute or so?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I have, I think it's coming from shorting the message to some bullet points, and that it makes sense in a way of, it's like, what's important, What's important? The fact that we can't put the name of the country inside the country, that shows a lot, You can't put Israel in the map. How can you be a colonizer if you colonize? You're a boutique colonizer. You're a very niche colonizer, minimizer colonizer. I'm going to colonize only this table and I'll stop there. There is no other example for colonialism that there were in an empire, right? We're the only non-empire colonialists, and we're also not white.
We're startup colonizers.
Yeah, startup colonizer without being a colonizer and colonizing our own indigenism land, which is kind of cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Colonize yourself.
Yeah. Right.
I'm a self-made colonizer of my own self, which is
not bad.
Very dumb.
It's very meta and very, in the moment, mindful.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Mindful or other mind F.
Yes, right.
But yeah, so I think there's that coming from that. Also, I'm surrounding with very smart people, so it's also helping me to, such as my wife and my sister, that they both works with me in the content.
Now another war. In the war, more war. We in a war. No, it's a new war in the war. How much war? More war in the war. Why? Because they don't like us more. But we already were in a war. It's a more war in a war. More than what we were before. Like where? All over. They don't like us all over. They want to kill us all. How much you can scare someone? Like, How much? It's like babushka of wars. War in the war. In the war, more war. Jesus. Don't you see that we're smarter and we fight better? Stop it. We don't want to kill you. We want peace.
So tell me a little bit more about the Tel Aviv English shows, because it's not only you who's doing these shows in English now. I'm seeing several other Israeli comedians and not Israelis as well. So what is this animal?
So Shachar Hassan, that's a popular name in Israel, Hebrew. He does a lot of television shows and hosting. He's a big, huge star if you're a Hebrew speaker, mainly. He started his own show back in 2012. We both started English shows and we collaborated together to a radio show. And from there it became, we had a documentary movie and a series. And I could say humbly and honorably, we founded the English comedy scene. Well, let's say we're big part of a small group that started that, and in 12 years you can see the result. It's very amazing to watch it, very privileged to watch, because every person that comes to do English stand-up, for me it's a tap on the shoulder, because they're exposing their agendas in comedy. More people can see that we're regular people, we're funny people. We're not the enemy. We're not your enemy. No matter who you are, we're not your enemy. We're not bad guys.
Everyone's enemy, because you really heckle the crowd. I mean, you're working the head. Where are you from? Turkey? You drink? What?
Yeah. But I told him, Sacha brother, and Tfadal, and thank you for coming. And I know you. It's not the first time you come to the show. It's like, yeah, there is the element of the roast, and
sure.
It's like, you're Muslim, I'm Jewish. Of course, we're gonna touch that. But we have so many, it's not just friends. We have brothers to arms that are fighting with us, that they're Muslims. They're fighting our wars.
Yep.
They're dying in the battle with us. What more than that? I'm not talking about judges and ministers and doctors and all of that are equal rights and everything. Muslim is not a forbidden word in Israel. It's not like when you're saying Jews in Syria, right? It's not. Muslims here are part of society, and they're not, even in the worst times in the war, you're still going to a Muslim doctor or dentist or someone that, is in charge of some, I don't know, like the head of company of that, you got a new car. They're part of us. It's not even, people that don't live here don't know that. So when they come to the show, you want to show it, and you do part of that. So back to the English scene, it's a lot of people. And if you hear that podcast from Israel, whoever the listeners are, I'm recommending to do some research. We have Funny Monday. There is the night of and Wednesdays of Jeremy Feldhammer. Just they're moving to a new location, but there is a Sundays open mic in Hudna Bar, sometimes on Thursday and sometimes on Sundays, with Limor Daan and Deb Kay and Benji Lovett. There's a lot of comedians. Matan Peretz, a lot of comedians. I think Matan Peretz has a night of with Olim, the page Olim on Facebook, and also great nights on the Stand-Up Factory south of Tel Aviv. It's a huge variety of shows, which is awesome. It's exciting. Whenever I'm free, I'm going to do a set in everyone's. And it's it's before the war it started. So it's, now we have a bigger meaning to do it in terms of the country, but it started way before the war and thrived.
Okay, I want to take us back to the beginning of our conversation, in which I asked you about being an Israel advocate as well as a comic. And by now you open up any page of some kind of conference happening in the States, and chances are you could be one of the speakers, but it's kind of the same lineup all over the place. There's, the regular stars who are coming from Israel. And I don't think that there's another comedian along in those stars, meaning it's usually somebody who's talking about being a gay Lebanese Christian growing up in Israel, or
You're talking about Jonah here?
I didn't want to imagine.
It's too specific now.
What? Why was that specific? Or things of that nature. And wonderful people, obviously, but you're there as a comedian with a strong message. And how do you feel delivering it, number one, and how do you feel it's being received at these Jewish events?
I didn't have time to really to think about it or to get prepared for this, big mission. I just, I came here to make people laugh. My goal in life is to change your line of your mouth from straight to archy. So I mean that's I didn't think about that much. I just when I have the mission, I'm going there. I'm doing my job. So yeah. I mean it's very, very sad times. And the fastest go-to that I had after the war started is like, I'm not gonna do comedy right now. This is not the time. This is too soon. What can we joke about? But a week goes by and 2 weeks, and you start to perform and volunteer to soldiers and whoever needed, and people that evacuated from their homes. And you're finding yourself working in your profession more than you did before. And with time, you get some dark humor or some jokes about what's going on. And with time, you understand that, first of all, A, people really need that. B, you're doing what you do. You're doing it kind of good. That's needed, and that's your miluim right now. That's your reserve duty right now, and you should go and do it. And the more you realize how much it's needed, the more you do it. And how you say, it's a snowball rolling that get more messages from people. There are direct PMs that people go. I didn't laugh since October 7th, and I saw your video. Thank you. That encourages me. It's true. People need that. When you hear all those interviews with the Holocaust survivors that they're saying, what do you feel about dark humor about the Holocaust as a survivor? I said, like, we had jokes in the camps. It's like, what do you mean? We had a guy that every evening told us jokes about what's going on, like about crematorium, about burning people, but like the most horrible things. It's like, and how was it like? And he goes, that's what kept us sane. Some of us got murdered then, but whoever survived needed to get his spirit. He needed to laugh because that's what makes a person sane, right? So knowing that, and personally going through two very crises in my own family, that my cousin got killed in the first attack of the first base, one of the first soldiers that got killed in October 7th. And fast forward to 4 months after my father passed away in the wartime, right? I'm carrying those things with the same responsibility of this, my personal loss. And that's on stage with me. I'm talking about it. I'm digesting that with the crowd. What's a dark humor? How could I keep going with what happened to my father, that it was my favorite person, like, my soulmate in a way.
Yochay, thank you for doing your reserve duty. And I, for one, needed the laughs that I've gotten from you. Thanks for listening to The Times of Israel's What Matters Now. Please check out another installment next week. This episode was produced by the Podwaves. If you have any questions or comments about this or any other episode, please drop us an email to podcast@timesofisrael.com. Until next week, shalom.